And so the first three are Alyssa, Quinn, Jace, Smellie, and Andrea Nelson. So Alyssa will be starting.
After 5 semesters in Helicon West, this mic still scares me. Yeah, I have been with the bullpen doing slam and flash for 5 semesters now, and this is going to be my last semester. I'm graduating this spring, so it's very bittersweet, but I'm really excited to be here. And just wanted to say thank you to Shannon and Jennifer and to my team. Not an exaggeration when I say that I've made my best friends through doing this slam poetry team, so I'm really, really grateful for that. Tonight I'm going to perform a poem that I decided I wanted to just mix everything up my last semester, and so I was going to write a slam poem about slam poetry. And it is called My Sister Discovers Slam. When my sister sends me a link and says, "Have you heard of this? I think they call it slam," I want to tell her to run. To run until lactic acid buzzes muscle. To hide under pink patterned fleece, something soft, something gentle. I want to hold up a sign saying, "Do not enter." There is too much anger here. Too many people cutting tongues across teeth, spitting into mics with breath they cannot catch, faces split, ugly red, nails digging palm, chests pumping with "fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." There's so much shouting. And you sweet girl with daffodil skin and bones like oxygen, I am afraid you will break under decibels of wailed rage. I am afraid you will choke on poison words, or worse, that you will swallow them. Toxic syntax seeping into stomach, spreading under skin until you are eroded. Nothing left but a bitter little body. Nothing but the mic's black bite slicing away the child in you. We are angry here. We slam against the world like rock into brick. We rip back skin, rip back beauty, shoot blame like it's a bullet. Blame, blame, blame. Let it rip shrapnel sharp into hearts that have hurt ours. Everything is explosion. And I don't want her in its radius. Don't want her lungs to clot acid yellow, her blood to burn and break skin, her tender cells to turn sharp and hard. So instead I beg her, stick to Silverstein, Perletsky, Mother Goose. Keep your child's mind wrapped in easy rhyme. But she is not a child. She is straddling the line between girl and woman, and although I want to keep her safe and sweet and daffodil soft, she is already learning that the world can be so hard, that its edges will rip her open. They have already ripped her open, like last fall when she swallowed a fistful of pills because she didn't want to be here anymore. So maybe anger is the only response. Anger because those middle school boys tell her she's not as pretty as the girl down the street. Anger because her mom's too tired and doesn't have time for her. Anger because her stepbrother comes at her with a kitchen knife every time they're alone together. And anger because I cannot save her, cannot protect her from all this shit. So maybe she should stand and snap her fingers and admit that things are fucked up. Maybe she should shed daffodil petals, peel them back and nurse a red, raw rage, because she has every right to be angry, because the world hangs so heavy around her, and pretending things are all okay would be the worst kind of lie. Things are not okay. And it's okay to say that. So yes, little sister, they call it slam. Thank you.
This is interesting to say the least. Oh, there we go. Nope. There we go. How about that? Yes. Nope. Hey. All right, that was great. So, my name is Jace Smellie, for those of you who do not know me. This is also my last semester in school, so my last time performing this. I was a part of it last year as well, and so it's been a great experience, and love the bullpen and love all the people in it, so thank you. My poem is an interesting one. Yeah, interesting. The first time I read it, I was told it was a combination by Alyssa, that it was a combination of Mr. Darcy and J. Alfred Prufrock, which is like probably the best compliment I've ever gotten in my entire life. Hopefully I was able to maintain that. So this is called A Prospective Love Letter to a Potential Lover. Dear you. Hello, my dearest. No, my most. Forgive me, for I should not start there. Honesty is key, don't I know it? And I should proceed with more caution. Terms such as dearest or most something or other ought to receive more thought than they often do. This world is too quick to judge, too quick to conclude. And so first, I ought to reflect what truly is dearest to me before I spew out such rash language concerning you and your eyes that are greener than an algae-filled pond, or your hair that glows like radioactive things. So instead I say, hello to you, my friend. Now please do not be alarmed by my addressing you as friend. I value this term more than most, and I do not subscribe to the damning notion that the association between two individuals, most commonly entitled friendship, is one from which there is no end. Others would suggest that there is not progression or digression from this state of association. However, I would argue and propose to you, in my addressing you as a friend, it is not meant to offend or define in concrete our present association. But rather, I merely wish to convey a level of affection that I have found for the present to be mutual. And of course, both parties maintain their right to move closer or further away from the stated association as he or she pleases. And do not be alarmed by my speaking of affection. I simply desire to clarify the feeling that seems to flow mutually in our present interactions. A common affection or caring or fondness for the other individual's well-being seems to be present thus far. However, if I have misread the look in your eyes or misinterpreted your words, please inform me in your reply, and I will never again speak of affection nor anything of the sort. But these affections are my purpose in writing you this day. My hope, if it pleases you, is to inform you that the feelings which you were surely familiar with at the time of our last association maintain their flow. They are as steady as the surgeon's hand or the factory smokestacks. I would even suggest that close observation of these flowing feelings would result in the conclusion that they flow even stronger than before. Yet, of course, I present these figures with trepidation and complete respect for your wishes. If such news is unwelcome, please inform me, If such news is unwelcome, please know I never meant to be a bother. Inform me of your feelings, one way or the other, and I will happily oblige. Or do not inform me, for you do not owe me anything, and I will never imagine to make you feel in such a way. Having expressed the desired message, I now close. All the good wishes and hopes I send now to you, my not quite dearest, present partner in a moderately affectionate relation, which could be termed as being that of friendship. With all the sincere affections which you would be willing to receive at this time, me.
that up. That was beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, my name's Andrea, and this is my first time ever performing. I'm really excited to be here. Okay, this poem is called Heart Vomit. 1. I've only seen the sun stroke the horizon once since we abandoned our childhood for a summer of halibut fishing. But the Alaskan light that was as constant as our braided fingers ceases to illuminate my eyes as the foggy airplane window dims. The block letters of our whispered goodbyes have thrust their way back into my windpipes, and I want to tear the oxygen mask from above me so I can breathe past the barbed wire meaning of it's over lodged in my throat. I sometimes remember the summer I muzzled the snitching staircase to escape for a night of stargazing. The speckled sky was vapid in comparison to the freckled constellations on your cheek. Giggling kisses nervously turned to brushing, grasping, stroking. And when I love you burst bubblegum sweet from your lips for the first time, hot buttered rum shot through my veins and flooded my heart, dizzying and sweet. Now when I regurgitate this memory to taste creamy caramel once more, yellow foam floats with stomach acid and mold. 2. Forever was a word we simply could not comprehend as naive 18-year-olds. Your updated relationship smolders on my clamped eyelids. I hurtle over oblivious roommates, fling open the dorm toilet, and puke my heart out of its clogged esophagus. Its maroon corpse gurgles blood against porcelain before being swallowed whole. Months later, I still haven't yanked out the tangles in my hair because I am hoping to catch something more substantial than strangers' fingers when they gasp, "Oh my God, yes," into my swollen lymph nodes. This void in my ribcage is unbearable. Nightly, I fill the hollow with shots of vodka chased with the cum of boys I just met. They rip my nipple piercings out with their fangs, but their mouths will not be painted red when they break through brittle breastbone. Because my heart, the shards of promises that rupture its remains, now decay in the sewer where bullshit belongs. 3. When you find out I am in town, you want to get coffee? Past daydreams are now a tangible reality, yet I dissociate from the verbatim dopamine "I always loved you" trickles into my veins. It distorts into total and utter terror in my liver, and my leery gut screams, "Run." I realize that the weight of these past 2.5 years have suffocated the sweet girl you tell me I still am, and I refuse to return to your arms. My heart may be reduced to myopathy, but at least it no longer stripteases for the over-chewed, insipid "I love yous" your tongue pushes against my protesting lips.
That was good, wasn't it? That was really good. No, I'm so, just take my breath away. Okay, the next 3 readers are Brittney McDonald, Lexy Roberts, and Preston Grover. Okay? So Brittney, then Lexy, then Preston.
I'm just gonna stand right here and speak really loud. Alright, thank you to my beautiful bullpen people. You guys are so great and you're so wonderful. I know I have like a handful of people out here that I've run this poem through otherwise. And I'm just so thankful for all your help and input. And this is entitled "To Vegas." In the hotel shower 19 floors above your stink, I am scrubbing your pockmarked sex from my skin. Star-spangled boobs, cigarette drips, tequila rum, scraped out of my scalp, all with the last layer of skin gone down your wide-lipped drain. You can keep it. Tonight, I popped blue blouse buttons like blisters, the soles of my feet into 2 tight plastic wedges, took sex from the hands of strangers in the form of cards like angry crickets chirping. It turns out for $125, you can even have sex with a woman whose pussy prints perfectly in pictures on the pavement. It turns out escort is a euphemism, or so said the man stepping down the strip too close behind, his hard leather heel scraping my Achilles tendon, wiping on me the dusty grime beneath the bare ass passed out homeless. I try and whisper into the water, warping my face. You cannot intimidate me, but I'm wishing I had more rum. I'm trying to wash it away. The feeling of growing up on my knees before a man who shoved Xanax down my throat with his palm and made me take off his shoes for him. The feeling of being 11 years small that fills me when I touch your broken star cards, breasts that bruise like mine, other little blonde girls on their knees down the street. I gurgle up into the shower stream. I will not cow beneath your homeless leers and backwash glances. My feet are already calloused with the wounds of running. My blisters shouldn't bleed. I choke and coax out. The pockmarked sidewalks of your sexed out city can't slow my strut down. This is where I learned to walk, traverse the perverse and tread dirty bathwater.
Intimidating at all. Someone help me fix this, I'm short. Thank you. Yeah, that feels perfect. The mic isn't feeling it.
It's gotta be higher.
Even the mic makes fun of me for being short.
Go, Mitch.
Okay, where's Josie?
All right.
Here we go.
Oh yay, that works.
There's mine.
That one I'll call.
Okay, let's just wait for like a second and see if it falls.
Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
Okay, my poem is about a particularly traumatic experience, and I think the title says it all. I almost kicked a dead pigeon. The fear of God beats in my echoing brain. My child kicking, revealing horror. He looks handsome in my light. My swinging jaw remembers. We've met before. I'm smaller than. I remember the memory slowly unwrapping, relearning itself. It was wet. You mock me still, your reflection in the water. Water still scares me. Yes, I asked for your company once, but I forgot to send that invitation. Your indirect kisses grow worrisome. And I guess you don't like dead things. Sorry, it's so short now.
It's fine, it's fine. It's good. Yeah, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Preston. I've never performed with the slam team before, and this is also the first slam poem I've ever written. There you go. This is called The Parable of the Inversion. This state is plagued with it. This white fog that permeates our livelihood and existence. We wake up and it's out on our front lawn, ready to greet us, waves to us as we walk to our cars, surrounds us as we go throughout our day, back and forth, back and forth. We can't pass a street corner without being reminded of its presence. We can't turn on the news without being reminded of its vice grip on our community. We can't think without it seeping under the cracks of our mind. How are we supposed to sit still knowing that every time we go outside, We will be harassed by this cloudy cult, this white following preaching its heart of invasion and strangleholds. How do we live with this cloud storming our homes, our schools, our works, libraries, the courthouses, the Capitol? Judges and lawmakers breathe in this poison and demand more. Demand others breathe the same, this gaseous sludge that conquers men, women, children. It makes its way into everybody. Some people welcome this fog. Breathe it in and stew it in their homes and let it spill out on the rest of us bystanders, refusing to clean up, sending their newborn agents door to door with asthmatic lungs full of it, demanding that we embrace these toxic vapors and join them, inhale with them until we are also in a white stupor. Our parents buy us books on how to inhale this mist deeper instead of accepting the fact that we don't want it in us at all, that we choose instead to inhale the secret combinations of a cigarette and breathe out that steam for others to revel in the marvelous glory of our innards. We have two options, all of us. We can fan this smoke, dissipate it elsewhere, demand that it leave us alone so that we can have breathing space to walk about our neighborhoods with naked lungs. Or we can pioneer to other corners, take in the pristine air elsewhere, climb up to the mountain tops where the smog can't reach us, and be embraced by the stones and saplings and soil and plant ourselves with our backs to the white Sodom and Gomorrah lest we witness the remainder and become pillars of salt. My beloved brothers and sisters, let us not be beholden to this unwanted airborne plague as our adversaries are. Let us instead breathe into gas masks, oxidizers, inhalers, cigarettes, bombs, hash pipes. Let us breathe in the sacrament that we choose instead of this haze that we are expected to. Our bodies are temples, and we decide the deity that belongs in them.
Dare I touch it?
Sorry.
It's gonna go taller. Okay, so we have the last four. I'm gonna read their names all at once. So we're gonna start with Millie Tullis, then Jeannie Woller, Matt Campanella, and Nate Hardy. So those are our last four bullpen slam poets.
I'm not going to thank everybody because then I might cry, so no one's welcome. Okay, so this poem is titled A Love Letter from Your Stomach. I can't stomach this. You must feel sick all the time. You always smell of winter mint, peppermint, spearmint gum, but something stronger underneath. Skin and acid. Always thinking about what you're eating and if you're okay because you don't carry around the sickness on your face, and I don't know how you feel about eating, when you eat, if you eat, and hold it down. You know how our body really isn't separate from our soul. I can't find any line that divides the two, and I've checked a dozen times because I thought they were separate, but then boys got up inside our bodies and fucked up our heads. But maybe it wasn't their fault. Maybe it's something we brought with us. Your mother raised you to believe that this body was a temple. It should be clean and organized and sacred. But that can't be the problem, because there are plenty who don't believe they are dwelling in holy vessels, and they still stand in front of mirrors, hungry eyes drilling naked bodies for fat. I can't watch you eat, but I can't stay away from the back and forth, the food that yo-yos through your body. It's like a car crash. If you're eating, then I have to listen for 10 minutes, a half hour, an hour afterwards, check for signs of food immigrating out, hear for a toilet flush, think about what's being taken from us. Leftovers, slippery with our own blood. You are tucking your fears about being enough away for a few hours or minutes until your body begs to be fed. I can't think about you eating without wondering if you are feeling sad or lonely or trapped in your tiny apartment, your single bedroom, your closet with no light, with your friends, with yourself, with the boys who text you but still aren't enough because you feel hungry for something you can't give yourself because you don't know what the fuck that would be.
what we could be hungry for and not regret, what we could eat that wouldn't make us sick from the inside out. There must be something broken under our skin, and there is so much to be afraid of. Were we ever capable of stomaching it? I only feel the sharp edges of your brown hips push their way up to your belly button, feel the minute fluctuations of your body, and I measure them carefully because I know every pound you lose better than any piece of myself, because I'm checking to make sure I don't miss you, make sure I can still catch you from wasting away and leaving me behind.
Okay, my name's Jeannie. I am suffering from sick brain, is what I call it. So as a result, I am now wearing Jennifer's shirt because I forgot mine. And I am going to be holding my poem in case I also forget lines. But like everybody's kind of said, I just want to reiterate that this slam poetry team has quite literally turned me into the person and the writer that I am today. This is my third year on the team, and if it weren't for joining that first year, my sophomore year, Lord knows where I'd be. So, this is called Concerns from a Homophobic Homosexual. I have this friend who calls herself a homophobic homosexual, and when I ask why, she says it's because she can't kiss her girlfriend. It's not that she doesn't want to feel their lips melt, it's just that that same-sex kiss, the one she imagined whenever her ex-boyfriend spread her teeth with his tongue, is seen as wrong by a society who told her to spit fire down her own throat. To pop bloated lungs that clung to apple-cheeked best friends, the ones she clarified she just liked spending time with, even though when they twirled like leaves cycloning into concrete, she always watched carefully with cupped hands, waiting to catch their dimpled backs. I tell her it's not a big deal if she wants to wear freckled arms around her waist like a raincoat to stay dry as she soaks in the laugh lines of another girl. And I promise her it's okay to unravel the cocoon suspended from her fingertips so that she can touch the atoms of female breath with fresh skin. She says, I want to believe you. To leave the trumpet of self-hate that only circulates in her eyes because a generation, not even her own, told her she's made of guitar strings that refuse to tune or shattered ceramic mugs that can't contain anything worth consuming. She says she loves herself, sure, but for other reasons, like how she laughs at her own jokes that are never really that funny, or how when a strange man shattered the passenger window of her car, she gave $5 to the woman shivering in the rain to remind herself that people are good. But the problem is that those moments of momentary self-love get swallowed by others who assume her sunburnt skin is always full of ocean water, pushing and pulling on a shore where externally she's okay, when the reality is she's drowning in the simple fact she's gay. And it doesn't matter how often her mother, brother, or sister tell her they don't love her any less, or when a roommate promises it's not uncomfortable when she undresses in the living room. She can't seem to ignore how sticky she feels in the sweat of her girlfriend as they lie in bed with crisscrossed fingers, letting porcelain words of almost love slip onto collarbones and belly buttons. Because I can assure you, it doesn't go away overnight. That despite a somewhat evolved society that doesn't really look twice if I hold my girlfriend's hand in public, I still feel those non-existent stares grab my shoulders and slump me into parentheses of explanation and uncertainty and the need to maybe apologize. And no matter how many times you insist that honestly nobody cares that my body folds into hers like warm sheets, I'm not sure I believe it yet. Then again, when I ask my friend, the one who can't kiss her girlfriend if they do anyways, she says, of course we kiss. Why deny myself the taste of huckleberry just because the sweetness makes me squint?
name's Matt Campanella. This is my first semester. I've never done anything like this before, so we'll see how this goes. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's involved with the slam team. This has been an amazing experience, and it's just been awesome. This is called Heavy Shadows. Don't let them see, I tell myself endlessly. But even when I'm not looking, I know they still stare at me. I can feel their scorching eyes, burning holes in my back, searing the flesh, leaving behind smoldering scraps of skin, pale and dry, corroded by the acid of forked tongues spitting lies. Don't let them see the skin I left behind, the cartilage now calcified, bone scraping on bone, skeleton exposed. Don't let them see, just fit in until I can leave, back to my room where I can talk to God and hope that he hears me. Do I have a choice? Do I have a say in the matter? Can you hear my voice, or must I pray louder? Am I the only one fighting this cold? Will time heal this wound? Will it pass as I grow old? Will it fester like an open sore, progressing as it hurts me more? Will it rot my insides to the core? Is there a cure for this disease? Are there pills that work? I don't know. I've never tried because I'll never go. See the doctors that make me feel like I'm losing my mind? Because how can I describe what I'm feeling when these feelings aren't mine? There's this devil on my shoulders and he just keeps feeding me lines, telling me not to seek help, forcing me to tell everyone I'm fine. In fact, I've never even told my family about this devil of mine because I know they won't believe me, just like the time when I was a little kid, scared of the ghost at the foot of my bed, only now it's different because this one resides in my head. And they'll just tell me I'm not insane and I'm just like everyone else. But if that's the case, then why does it feel like there's a saw blade buzzing through my brain, severing synapses and leaving me nearly numb to pain, making me hope and pray that I get really sick so I don't have to lie when someone asks me if I'm okay, making me feel so ashamed, like I'm not human, just because sometimes I keep a tally in my brain of all the people who might miss me if I were gone today. God, will you save a place for me in heaven even if I throw this life away? And so I gazed into death's hollow, hypnotizing eyes, and we stood face to face. And all the pieces of my mind suddenly snapped into place, and I felt for the first time that I was finally awake. I twisted and slipped from death's calm embrace. I denied the sweet seduction and made my escape. And now, I feel empowered, and I see the beauty in every day, but I still see all this hate in the world, and I want to make a change. All in all, I'm grateful for the heavy weight and this demon who beckons me back to my grave, because now, I'm living proof of someone who fought back and won, and you can be too. And I promise it gets easier if you just let someone help you. Because the truth is we're all human. We all have our pain. Mine isn't gone, it still comes back in waves. But when it strikes, I don't sit by and wait. I turn and I fight until the shadow dissipates, even if it's only for a moment. At least I fought back today. And it's okay to have problems. Don't feel ashamed. Because while our cuts may be different, the blood is the same. And if we start swapping scars and comparing pain, peeling back skin and picking apart brains, I think you'll be surprised at the similarities you find. So please, don't project your pain on others. It's a waste of your time. Use it to face down your demons and take back your life. After all, we only get the one. And no clock on the wall can tell you, if you have enough time, to wait until a better day to start living your life. Thank you.
So, my name is Nate Hardy, and I'm actually a freshman at USU. I come from Kansas. Everyone's looking for Oz there. And, sorry, that was just horrendous. So, the poem I'm about to read is inspired by one of the most insane people I've ever met in my entire life. He's kept me alive and almost killed me a plethora of times, but this poem is called The Church of Rock and Roll. Welcome all. Welcome to our Sunday school, held all 6 days from the Sabbath. For those of you who don't feel at home at 8 a.m. service, sacrament, or mass, and I invite you, open your arms, execute your inhibitions, and listen to the gritted side of the glory of God, because he gets it. You've got problems that you try and run away from, and he sees you stepping hard like you want to make the earth bleed. But it's like the demons of 1,000 cremated blunts are clawing the word freedom against the insides of your lungs, desperately trying to escape the wannabe escapee. And breathing is becoming tortuous because we're all trying to climb out of your esophagus at once. And the past has contorted itself into chain links and curled around the necks of your feet like a heroin addict's fumbling fingers around his needles, just trying to feel something. But it forgot to make a key. He gets it. He sees your suffering. He knows your mind analyzes like 40 days and nights of relentless rain, dropping you into a sinner's sea, captain of a cypress casket. You're afraid to sink. You're tired, adorned in chains and claustrophobically asphyxiating. He sees you feel forsaken, shaken to the bone. The temple of your body's cast into broken homes that wraps around what is beautifully you. An encaptured soul, dreaming of being enraptured. He hears you screaming from the bottom of your blackened hearts at the top of those broken lungs. From far and wide you'll come, hurtling yourselves against the insides of the flesh and cells in which you reside, looking for somebody with an amp and a mic to make you feel fucking alive, even if it's only for a night. So I'll slide these liberating dials all the way to 10 and strike the first note. I'll stand in front of your convicting lights, let my soul tear out of my throat and into this mic just to let yours know that the fight is not over. I will preach with vibrations and we will scream grace towards heaven, hurling our words into eternity and our bodies into one another. Because sometimes you just need to ball your fingers up into fists and throw them as hard as you can at anything that they'll hit. So aim them at me, please. Or throw them towards heaven to the beat. And if we're lucky, the boom of my voice from the front of this stage will be thunder in your ribcage and stop your heart for a moment. Because I know that you're enraged and just trying to cope with the chains of the broken. He knows that even non-believers pray for escape from the pain of this material holding. He gets it. You are looking for answers in the bottoms of liquor store bottles and in the breath of one another's bodies. At crippled communions, you wrap your quests in rolling papers. You melt them in silver spoons. But to what avail? You will endlessly chase these trails into cold, hushed eternity. Like late fireflies, wandering aimlessly towards the looming winter, away from life beyond survival, away from love beyond condition. You will be lost. You will be lost. And you will take your light away from the rest of us. Please, just listen. Because God knows that death is cold and that death is quiet. Don't you die alone, drowning in this deafening silence, because He's given you a home and He's given your soul fire. So let's rock on and show death that we can be defiant. Thank you.